Here's a statistic that will forever shift your perspective on attraction. 85% of women don't experience true arousal until one particular condition is met first, and it's not at all what most men assume. The majority of men operate under a deep misconception. They believe physical attraction functions identically for everyone. They question why some evenings buzzed with electricity, while others fell completely flat, even with women who showed clear interest. They suppose that if a woman finds them attractive, her body ought to react instantly, just as theirs would. But that's simply not how it functions. Not in the slightest. Then I came across the studies, the psychological insights, the real science driving female arousal, and suddenly everything made sense. Today, I'm walking you through the 5 phases that produce genuine female arousal, a process the average man never grasps. This isn't locker room banter. This is research-backed psychology that will revolutionize how you relate to women. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And when it comes to arousal, your reaction to her signals, your patience, your groundedness, your capacity to foster safety, that reaction is everything. If you respond with haste, you sabotage the process. If you respond with mindful presence, you open the door. Let's get into it. 1. Emotional safety must be prioritized first. Here's what most men fail to grasp about female arousal. It originates in the mind, not the body. Before any woman can genuinely allow herself to feel drawn to you, her brain needs to resolve one fundamental question. Am I secure with this individual? This isn't merely about physical security, though that certainly factors in. It's about emotional security, psychological security. The deep instinctual assessment every woman performs to determine if you're someone she can let her guard down with. Consider this from an evolutionary standpoint. For millennia, women who erred in judging male partners encountered severe repercussions. Pregnancy, reliance, vulnerability, all tied to the selection of a mate. Those primal instincts don't simply vanish because we inhabit modern society. They're embedded in female psychology. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When a woman's thoughts are shaded by anxiety or doubt, her body cannot unwind. And without relaxation, arousal is out of reach. So, what does emotional safety look like in real terms? It's how you manage her boundaries. It's whether you genuinely hear her when she speaks, or merely await your chance to interject. It's how you respond when she declines something minor, because her subconscious is perpetually evaluating. If I refuse this small request, will he honor it, or will he pressure, manipulate, or become upset? I discovered this truth the hard way with a woman I was seeing years ago. We had fantastic chemistry, wonderful conversations, but whenever things started moving toward greater intimacy, she'd withdraw. I felt irritated and bewildered until she finally clarified it for me. "You cut me off constantly," she explained. "You dismiss my views on films, meals, even trivial matters. How can I feel safe being exposed with you when you don't even honor my thoughts about dinner?" That was a revelation. I understood that I was attempting to develop physical closeness without first laying the groundwork of emotional safety. It's akin to constructing a house without a foundation. It may appear sound on the outside, but it's inherently precarious. Emotional safety is cultivated through reliability. It's about demonstrating through your conduct over time that you're someone who respects her independence, someone who values her perspectives and emotions, someone who won't punish her for being truthful or establishing limits. This entails actively hearing what she expresses. Truly hearing, not simply planning your subsequent remark. It means soliciting her opinions and sincerely weighing them. It means accepting gracefully when she says no to anything, from meal plans to physical approaches, without making her feel guilty or mistaken. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you can remain present with her without nervously pushing toward an outcome, you provide the safety she requires to lower her defenses. And when her defenses are lowered, the path to arousal starts to clear. Most men stumble at this stage because they're excessively fixated on the endpoint. They're aiming to reach somewhere, and she can perceive that urgency. It unsettles her. It causes her to retreat. But the man who is centered, the man who is present without motive, the man who can be with her without needing anything from her, that man cultivates safety without effort. And safety, more than anything, is the gateway to desire. 2. Intellectual engagement sparks the flame. Once emotional safety is in place, the next essential component is intellectual engagement. Here's something that may catch you off guard. For the overwhelming majority of women, arousal begins in the brain long before it manifests in the body. Studies consistently reveal that women's arousal patterns diverge significantly from men's. While men often encounter arousal as a fairly simple physical reaction, women's arousal is far more layered, involving numerous psychological and emotional elements working in tandem. Intellectual engagement doesn't require you to be a genius or debate theoretical physics on every outing. It means stimulating her mind in ways that produce excitement, curiosity, and emotional resonance. It means prompting her to think, laugh, wonder, and feel intellectually valued. I recall a time with this remarkably bright woman who worked in marketing. During our initial dates, I kept attempting to dazzle her with narratives about my profession, my accomplishments, my takes on everything. The conversation felt wooden, forced. She was courteous, but evidently not engaged. Then one evening, rather than discussing myself, I began inquiring about her work, genuinely inquiring, not just how was your day, but what's the most demanding project you're tackling right now? What makes it intricate? How are you strategizing the solution? Her whole demeanor shifted. She grew animated, fervent, absorbed. She started sharing not only what she did but how she approached issues, what energized her about her industry, what exasperated her about market developments. That's when I realized intellectual engagement isn't about showcasing your intelligence. It's about acknowledging and interacting with hers. Intellectual engagement manifests through various avenues. Intellectual curiosity is significant, posing questions that provoke thought, presenting ideas that challenge her perspective, delving into subjects she's passionate about. Yet it's not solely about weighty matters. Witty repartee, clever humor, unexpected observations about everyday life. All of these captivate her mind in ways that produce excitement. Emotional intelligence is another major element. When you can perceive the subtleties in what she conveys, recognize her emotional state, and respond to her feelings with compassion and insight, that's intellectual engagement as well. You're demonstrating your ability to handle the intricacies of human emotion, which many women find immensely appealing. Mystery and spontaneity also factor in importantly. Not the deceptive kind of mystery involving games, but authentic unpredictability where you keep surprising her with your thoughts, viewpoints, and reactions. When a woman senses she's still uncovering new dimensions of who you are, her mind stays captivated and interested. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly," and the intellectual engagement that fuels arousal is no different. It's built through the accumulation of moments where you stimulate her mind, demonstrate curiosity, and reveal substance. And as you foster that mental engagement, she becomes progressively more attracted to you. The 85% statistic I referenced earlier stems from this reality. Most women cannot achieve arousal without intellectual engagement. Their bodies simply won't respond if their minds aren't activated. And most men, assuming physical attraction suffices, bypass this stage entirely. They attempt to jump straight to the body without first capturing the mind, and they fail repeatedly. 3. Anticipation heightens the tension. Here's where most men completely miss the mark. They assume arousal is about progressing as rapidly as possible toward physical intimacy. However, for most women, arousal is actually about the experience, not the finish line. It's about anticipation, build-up, and exquisite tension that accumulates gradually. Consider your preferred movie. Is the finest part the concluding scene, or is it the mounting suspense that renders the finale so gratifying? Female arousal operates in a similar fashion. It's often more about the foreplay of the mind than the actual physical moment. This is why hurried physical advances so frequently extinguish the mood. Even with women who are sincerely interested, you're denying her the anticipation phase that's actually vital to her arousal cycle. I picked this up from a woman I dated who was remarkably straightforward about her preferences. "Take it slower," she instructed me one evening. "You're charging towards something I'm not prepared for yet. And paradoxically, that makes me want it less. Allow me to desire it first." That insight revolutionized my approach. Allow me to desire it first. Anticipation is cultivated through several methods. Physical closeness without immediate reward is significant. Sitting near enough that you're almost touching, but not fully. Holding eye contact that extends a heartbeat beyond normal. Brief touches that suggest more but don't demand it. A hand on her arm during conversation, fingers that graze as you pass something to her, a light contact on her back as you steer her through a doorway. These instances generate what psychologists term arousal tension, the pleasurable discomfort of craving something slightly beyond reach. This tension is actually a vital element of arousal for numerous women. Verbal anticipation is similarly crucial. It's the craft of implication without explicitness, remarks that paint mental images without being coarse, compliments that suggest attraction without being overtly sexual. "You have the most captivating smile" differs greatly from "you're hot." One cultivates anticipation, the other merely conveys information. Time is another essential component of anticipation. Not only time within a single evening, but time across multiple interactions. The woman who's eager to see you again because your previous exchange left her wanting more. The mounting excitement between messages. The way attraction can deepen between dates when both individuals are preoccupied with each other. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you grasp the influence of anticipation, you command the dynamic. You're not racing to the outcome, because you recognize that the journey itself generates the desire. And that awareness distinguishes you from every other man who fails to comprehend it. Most men are so fixated on the final outcome that they overlook the entire buildup. They want to arrive as quickly as possible, not realizing that the process of getting there is what makes it meaningful. But a man who comprehends anticipation, a man who can decelerate, who can generate tension, who can make her wait, that man is indelible. Fourth, emotional connection deepens the encounter. Physical attraction might capture someone's attention, but emotional connection is what elevates mere interest into genuine arousal. This is possibly the most poorly understood facet of female sexuality, the essential role that emotional closeness plays in physical craving. For most women, arousal isn't simply a physiological reaction. It's an emotional experience. The more emotionally bonded she feels to you, the more her body responds to your physical presence. This explains why women frequently report that intimacy with someone they share deep emotional ties with is exponentially more satisfying than casual encounters, even when the physical approach is comparable. Emotional connection is forged through vulnerability from both you and her. It's about revealing parts of yourself that you don't expose to everyone and offering space for her to do the same. This mutual openness establishes a distinctive attachment that amplifies every other facet of attraction. I recall a relationship where I initially tried to project a polished exterior, showcasing only my strengths and victories. The woman I was seeing was clearly interested, yet something was absent. Our physical connection felt superficial, almost mechanical. Everything shifted the night I disclosed something I was genuinely grappling with, a professional setback that had undermined my self-assurance. Rather than interpreting this as frailty, she responded with compassion and confided her own worries about her career path. That exchange created an emotional closeness that completely transformed our physical rapport. Emotional connection incorporates several key components. Empathy is essential. The capacity to comprehend and address her emotional state, to be present with her feelings without attempting to repair or dismiss them. When a woman feels genuinely understood by you, when she senses that you can perceive and value the complete intricacy of who she is, it generates a profound sense of connection. Attentive listening is a major factor here. Not merely hearing her words, but grasping the emotions underlying them. Asking follow-up questions that indicate you're invested in what she's sharing. Recalling specifics from earlier conversations and bringing them up later. These actions demonstrate that she matters enough for you to genuinely engage with her inner world. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you are entirely present with her, listening without agenda, you forge the emotional connection that transforms simple attraction into authentic desire. Most men never attain this stage because they're too intimidated by vulnerability. They suppose showing weakness will cause her to lose respect, but the reverse is true. Vulnerability, when it stems from a place of strength, is one of the most appealing qualities you can present. It signals to her that you are confident enough in yourself to be genuine, and authenticity in a world of performance is compelling. Fifth, physical attraction becomes the catalyst. Only after emotional safety, intellectual engagement, anticipation, and emotional connection are in place, does physical attraction become the catalyst that converts all that accumulated energy into actual arousal. This is the final component of the sequence, yet it only functions effectively when the groundwork has been properly established. Physical attraction at this point isn't solely about appearance or technique. It's about physical presence, vitality, confidence, and the capacity to generate and react to physical chemistry. It's about being someone whose contact she longs for because of everything that's been constructed between you. The error most men commit is initiating with physical attraction and assuming everything else will naturally follow. But studies indicate that for most women, it operates in the opposite direction. Emotional and mental connection amplifies physical attraction, not the other way around. I learned this from a woman who articulated it impeccably. "There are plenty of attractive men," she observed, "but there are very few who can make me feel secure, comprehended, excited, and wanted all at once. When someone can do all of that, they become impossible to resist." Physical attraction at this stage revolves around presence and perception. It's about being at ease in your own skin and responsive to hers. It's about recognizing that physical chemistry is a dialogue between two people, not a solo performance. Touch becomes significant when it's supported by the foundation of everything else. A hand on her back carries different weight when she trusts you completely. Eye contact feels distinct when you've exchanged emotional intimacy. Even basic proximity becomes charged with energy when anticipation has been properly established. The physical component also entails understanding her unique responses and preferences. Every woman is individual. What feels right for one might not suit another. The key is paying attention, communicating, and adjusting to her reactions rather than adhering to a fixed approach. Energy and confidence are also significant. When a woman feels emotionally safe and bonded with you, when her mind has been engaged and anticipation built, she wants to experience your confidence and presence. Not arrogance or hostility, but genuine comfort with yourself and the situation. Numerous women report that their most intense arousal occurs when all 5 components are present. They feel emotionally secure, mentally stimulated, anticipation has been cultivated. Emotional connection is robust and physical attraction provides the spark that ignites everything. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you comprehend this 5-phase sequence, your reaction to attraction is no longer driven by urgency or bewilderment. It's steered by awareness, patience, and regard, and that reaction is what renders you genuinely attractive. So there it is, the 5-phase process that produces genuine female arousal. Emotional safety, intellectual engagement, anticipation, emotional connection, and finally, physical attraction as the catalyst. Here's where most men err. They attempt to leap directly to phase 5, and then question why it fails. But arousal isn't a switch you can just flip. It's a progression that unfolds when the circumstances are favorable. The 85% statistic I cited at the outset comes from research indicating that most women require multiple psychological and emotional criteria to be satisfied before they can experience authentic arousal. It's not about being difficult or complicated. It's about how female sexuality actually functions. Understanding this process transforms everything. It makes you a better companion, a more attractive man, and someone capable of creating genuine connection, rather than merely going through the motions. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus also taught that no great thing is created suddenly, and the arousal that leads to true intimacy is no different. It's built through the accumulation of minor instants, each one adding to the last. Each instant of safety, each instant of mental engagement, each instant of anticipation, each instant of emotional connection, they all converge towards something bigger. And when you recognize that, you stop hurrying. You stop pressing. You start fostering the environment where arousal can develop organically. And that is the real secret, not gimmicks, not tactics. Understanding. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you nurture thoughts of patience, respect, and comprehension, your soul reflects that. And she will perceive it. She will sense that you are different from the men who rush, who pressure, who fail to grasp. And that difference is what will make you unforgettable. Now, allow me to offer the practical application of all this. Because grasping the theory is one thing, but knowing how to implement it in reality is what revolutionizes your relationships. First, prioritize emotional safety in every encounter. Before you attempt to impress her, make her feel secure. This means honoring her limits, listening without judgment, and demonstrating through your actions that you're trustworthy. It means not persisting when she declines, not becoming defensive when she shares a concern, and not trying to dominate the interaction. Second, stimulate her mind. Pose questions that provoke thought. Offer ideas that challenge her viewpoint. Show authentic curiosity about her thoughts, her passions, her aspirations. Don't just wait for your opening to speak. Truly absorb what she expresses. Third, cultivate anticipation. Avoid hurrying toward physical closeness. Allow the tension to develop. Create instances of nearness without insisting on more. Let her ponder what comes next. Let her experience the pleasant discomfort of wanting something slightly beyond reach. Fourth, strengthen emotional connection. Reveal aspects of yourself that you don't typically share. Create room for her to do likewise. Be open without being clingy. Show empathy and insight. Demonstrate that you can hold her emotions without being consumed by them. Fifth, let physical attraction serve as the catalyst it's meant to be. Once the foundation is established, allow physical chemistry to emerge spontaneously. Don't compel it. Don't accelerate it. Let it grow organically from everything that's been constructed between you. And here's the most crucial point to remember. This process isn't about manipulation or strategy. It's about being a man who understands and honors the complexity of female psychology. It's about evolving into someone who can foster genuine connection, because you genuinely care about the woman before you. It's about navigating the world with presence, patience, and intention. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you can be present with her without nervously pushing toward an objective, you create the space for authentic connection to thrive. And that connection is what makes you unforgettable. If this video revealed something new to you, hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you encountered these stages in your own relationships? What element of this process surprised you most? Remember, genuine attraction isn't about gimmicks or methods. It's about understanding, respecting, and engaging with the intricate, beautiful reality of how human connection actually works. I'll see you in the next video.